Next, we are going to go through series of example prompt to understand these concept what we have learned so far. So the format is, I will tell you what it is, what we are going to learn. We are going to try out a sample prompt, and we are going to go through some what it teaches and what lesson we learned, etc. In this particular demonstration, we are going to restrict ourselves from using one or two or maybe three generative AI technologies, because we are not doing a comparison of this output. We are basically learning the prompting. So predominantly we are going to use the Copilot. So this is the personal Copilot. You can sign in with your email address to use this personal Copilot. Then I will give you some examples on the work Copilot as well. So we, in the work one, we have the work and the web tab. We will be spending a lot of time in the web part because we are learning about the prompting basics. And if we want, we can go to ChatGPT or Gemini or Meta AI or DeepSeek, etc. But we are not doing any comparison of the output. So that is not the objective of today. Our objective is to learn the prompting basics, tips and tricks. So let's start with the first one. What is a basic prompt? So if I can go back, the previous example, if I say that I want food, that is a basic prompt. Or summarize a document is a basic prompt. So if we ask a basic prompt, I'm going to ask this prompt in the generative AI tool, create an image of a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. What it's going to teach us is rules for basic prompt, and minimal input gives us a default generic output. So this is a good starting point for learning anything, right? So let's go and start this. I'm going to ask Copilot, create an image of Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. At the same time, I'm going to go to the Copilot web, and I'm going to ask the same question here. And let's ask ChatGPT, Gemini, Meta AI, and DeepSeek. And we are not going to compare the output. In the first exercise, we'll probably use all of them. And the next one, we are just going to only use one or two, because we are learning the process of different tips and tricks, the components needed to be a good prompter. All right, so when you ask a question, this generative AI, it's going to take some time, especially for creating video and audio at this point in time. But if you come back later, maybe it's not going to take time, because these generative AIs are evolving so much faster that anything could change at any point in time. So depending on when you watch it, if you try it, maybe it's not even going to take this much time. All right, so I spent about, I think, 30 seconds or so. So this is the image we got from Copilot. It's quite good, looks so adorable. So if I go to Copilot for work in the web tab, we got like 4 different versions of it. I wouldn't say this is like photorealistic. Maybe the model update in the backend is going to make it like more like the Copilot in the future, but this is good as well, depending on what you're trying to create. At the moment, I can't create in ChatGPT because it's saying that because I use the free version, a lot of people are creating, I can't do it. Gemini created something similar to what I got the response from personal Copilot as well. So that is quite good. And then if I look at Meta AI, I got something similar like the work instance, a lot of different version, at least 4 images to I can pick from. And DeepSeek says that I can't create the image, but I can give you some description. I can use other AI tools to create it at the moment. All right, so I'm going to close the DeepSeek one. We're going to close the Meta AI. We're going to close Gemini at the moment. We're going to close ChatGPT. We're going to use these two, that is Copilot personal one and the Copilot work one, to continue with this exercise. So I'm going to copy this image. Let's build our PowerPoint along the way. So I'm going to give or keep the output here. Along the way, when we built it, we can store or copy the output file as well here. All right, so that's the first one. Let's look at the next example. The next, we are going to learn about how the role and the tone within the prompt is going to impact the output. So what we are going to learn here is using the roles to change the tone and perspective of images. So the prompt what we are going to ask is, as an artist, create a vibrant digital painting of a playful Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. All right, so I'm going to ask the question: as an artist, create a vibrant digital painting of a playful Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. And I'm going to go back to Copilot and ask the same question as well. Depending on the complexity, it can take time. So the more and more we go deeper into the prompting session, we're going to take some extra time to generate these images because it is going to get complicated because we are going to add more and more elements. So if I can go back to the PowerPoint, so what are we learning here? So this particular prompt is going to teach us role. So in this prompt, I added something new to this particular prompt. We say that as an artist, create a vibrant digital painting. So I'm requesting this generative AI to assume a role as an artist. I didn't specifically say which artist, I just basically told artist. So first and foremost, this generative AI can understand the roles like this. What is an artist that can understand that is a role? And then I said a digital painting of a playful. Playful is a tone, and it could be a playful, a vibrant. All of these are tone, and generative AI can understand these tonal changes as well. So we introduced two things: a role and a tone within the prompt, so that let's see what's output we are going to get. And the lesson we are trying to learn here is this is going to shift the style and emotional quality of the image, and the role is going to influence the point of view and depth. All right, based on the question I asked, now I got a response from Copilot Personal that is quite good, like an artistic way. And I got four different variation of examples when I asked the same question to the Copilot in the work as well. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to copy this image and we are going to save it as an output or an example of the question what we asked in the presentation pack. Let's go and learn the third one. Third one, we are going to learn about format and task specification. Here, what we are trying to learn is specifying the format to guide the output structure. And this format could be, can you give me this output in a sticker format? Or can you give me this output in a portrait format? Or like a stamp and things like that. So the prompt, what we are going to ask is design a sticker of Cavalier Spaniel with a whimsical background. So let's go and copy the prompt, go back to the Copilot, ask the question. I'm going to ask this in the work one as well. Let's go back to the presentation. What we are trying to learn here is if you introduce concepts like format and clear task, this generative AI gonna listen to that and put that as a constraint to give you that output. So here we are instructing the model what to generate and in what form. So if you look at it, we told it to design as a sticker format, and we specifically told I want a background with a whimsical background. So let's go back and see the output. All right, so the Copilot chat have created four versions. I'm going to go to the personal one. All right, so it created it. I asked for a sticker. I got a sticker back. It looks so adorable. I'm going to copy the image, go back and put this as an example as an output for our exercise. All right, so we are slowly ramping up and we are learning new components. Let's go and learn the fourth one. So here what I'm trying to incorporate is style and order of the word. So if you look at the prompt, I'm saying that, hey, use watercolors to depict a fluffy Cavalier Spaniel sitting in a sunlit garden. So if you look at it, I'm including words like watercolor up front. So these placements of these words in the prompt also can be very important. So immediately I'm telling using watercolor, that's a high impact. And towards the end, I'm telling create the image of this spaniel in a sunlit garden. So the last word is also important because these focuses the impact. So whatever you want prompt to focus on, make sure to put these word or emphasize these words early in your prompting or towards the end of the prompting. Don't put that in the middle of the prompt. So let's go and copy this prompt and ask Copilot, and I'm going to do the same thing in the work Copilot as well. So what are we trying to learn here? So here we are learning the artistic style and sequence of words. So let's go back. So that's quite cute. We asked for a watercolor style. This is definitely a watercolor style. And we asked for an element called sunlit garden. This is quite good. Let's go to Copilot to see. Here, if you look at this picture, it is definitely sunlit, but it didn't like emphasized that particular aspect like how it did in the Copilot one. So here you can see in the back end, like sunlight is shining through to the dog. It took that literally. Here it's like a bit more subtle, but it is well lit. So if this is not what you want, this is where we introduce the concept called iteration. You can say that, hey, can you add an element where the sunlight is shining through, passing through the trees and things like that. So then it's going to be much obvious. So it doesn't stop you there. You can constantly go and ask further iterated questions here to make modification on the exact output what you got. So I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Let's add it to our presentation. All right, so that was the watercolor example. Next one, we are going to learn about detail and complexity. So adding detail and complexity to enhance the image richness. So far we've been adding elements like watercolor, create in a sticker format, add a whimsical background, things like that. Now we are slowly amplifying it. Now we are going to tell that, hey, craft a lifelike digital portrait of a Cavalier Spaniel, highlighting its expressive eyes and silky fur texture. So if you can see that there are quite a lot of detail here. One, I'm telling it to focus on a digital portrait picture, not like a long shot, things like that. I really want a close up. And then highlighting few things, expressive eyes and silky fur texture. So there are quite a lot of elements here, and it's a quite a lot of complicated process. The model have to be really good to give us a good output here. Let's go and copy this prompt and ask Copilot on both. And let's go back to the presentation to see what we are learning here. The more context yields richer and more refined output. We'll see the output to see if that is true. And what it is teaching us is complex instruction and detailed focus. So there is nothing stopping you from adding more complex instruction. So sometimes you don't have to add this sort of complex detail at the get-go in the first prompt, but if you are like quite mature in terms of your prompting, you can add it. Otherwise, you can start slow and start basic, and then you can add more fine-tuned detail to increase the complexity little by little so that you can see the changes. So let's go back to the output. All right, I can see that there are 4 versions, which is quite accurate based on the things what we asked, with expressive eyes and silky fur. Let's go to the personal Copilot. All right, so we got the output based on what we asked. We asked for highlighting expressive eyes and silky fur texture in a portrait format. So that is exactly what we got. I'm gonna copy this image. Let's add it to our adorable collection.